Hello, welcome to another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. I'm Wayne Highlander, Director of Sales for Bona Adhesives.
I'm Rob Johnson from Bona Training.
How are you doing, Rob?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. We're coming to the end of the year, and you and I have talked about this a lot. I'm big on setting goals, and I probably say it every year, but I mean it every year. I really think that it gives us a chance to reflect on what we did last year and everything, and set goals for the new year. There's although the unemployment rates were down today, which was a good sign. Also, it sounds like the Feds might be doing something with the interest rate, which would probably help things, at least in the short term. So that might be good for business, but I really think it's a good time to look at, cutting, how we can reduce costs and increase our company profits, and just kind of getting our act together. But before I say that, I'm going to tell you something, and this is an old guy talking about life here, real quick, okay? And about having your affairs in order.
Are you the old guy?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm older than you, son.
Are you?
Yeah, I think I am by a few months,
What year were you born?
at least chronologically.
What year were you born?
1960.
Oh, hell, you're much older.
How old are you? Or what year were you born?
62.
Huh, sophomore.
Yeah, I'm a child. Right.
Yeah. My sister-in-law just passed away
I'm
unexpectedly.
very sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. At 66 years old, completely unexpected. And she lives about 40 minutes from us. And I have inherited 30 sheep, a mule, 4 dogs, and 2 cats. I don't know if you know this about me, Rob, or not, but I'm not a farmer.
I was going to say, you don't strike me as being a farmer type. I know you love animals,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a difference between loving an animal and being a farmer.
Yeah, when I say I had inherited these animals, I really don't know if that's accurate or not, because there is no will, there is no sign of that. No one can get into her computer, no one can get into her laptop, and so nobody knows anything about what's going on. And it's been an eye opener for Judy and I. Think we pretty much have our act together about what happens, with our money or whatever when someone passes away. God forbid. I hope it's me first. But
I bet I'm pretty sure Judy does too.
no, yeah, Judy knows exactly where everything is at all the time,
Good.
and she probably hopes I
Good.
go first too. I hope that'd be
Yeah.
totally fine with me. But my point is, it has left in her path a ton of turmoil and what have you. The 4 dogs we had to find homes for right away. The 2 cats have run off. We think we know where one is, and now we're finding homes for the cats and everything, and the sheep and what to do with the house, and nobody has any idea. And this was a very, very intelligent lady. I mean, she was in the top like 1% of SAT scores in high school, and she never took a book home. She never studied. She never did homework in high school, and yet she was in the top 1 or 2% in the SAT score. She was brilliant, but here you are at the end of your life, and now nothing is in order. You know what I mean? So I'm just, for the older guys, just doing that, and even when you think you really know, and have your act together, that's so important, man. Because, like I said, now it's just complete turmoil for everybody, and there's nobody here to deal with it except my poor wife, who just lost her mom a month and a half ago or 2 months ago. So she had to deal with that. Now she's dealing with this, and
She got blindsided, man. Holy
yeah.
crap.
But anyhow, getting
I thought this story was going to go a whole different way. I saw you in a new reality TV show, from flooring to farming type of a thing, the Highlander story.
No.
What are you going to do with all the sheep? What did she do with all those sheep?
Okay, let's start with the dogs. We
All
took
right.
one of we
Go with
there.
the dogs.
All right, so this is in Tennessee. Someone from Wisconsin came down and took one dog. Someone from Florida came and took another dog, and someone from Indiana took the third. Her dogs are way sought after. I mean, they're grand champions and whatever they're. And she was very well known in the dog world for training, so they went like immediately. Now we took the other dog because this other dog is 14 years old. Nobody wants her. She's too old to do, for sheep herding or whatever. So
Just the way you like your animals, huh?
yeah, it's
On the way out the door.
And when
This is your last stop.
Yeah, when I take her outside at night to go to the bathroom, she stares at me. Like she just there and just inadvertently all the time, it just stares at me. So I don't know what the hell's going on with her, but anyhow.
She's probably
then
looking for her master. You're
Yeah.
not my guy. Where's my guy?
The sheep, we think, well, there's two guys that have a farm together that they're going to take the sheep. It's like a no-kill thing. That's the only thing I said. We give them to you for free, although we know we don't have the authority to. We don't know whose sheep they are, but because she has other siblings and what have you, this is complicated. But we said just take them as long as you're going to keep them and raise them or whatever. Then you can have them and all the sheep equipment that came with them. And then the mule is going to another
Hopefully
guy.
she wasn't babysitting those sheep.
What do you mean?
Somebody, hey, you got a farm.
Oh,
Can I
no.
leave my sheep here for a while?
No,
Till my place is right.
Yeah, no, they've been hers for a while.
Then somebody comes knocking on the door. Where are my sheep?
Yeah,
So I gave them all away.
yeah. So anyhow, there's
What,
that.
wait. What did she do with the sheep?
Well, she used them for her dogs. Her dogs were sheep herders, and her one of her dogs is the son of the 2 years ago the world champion in Scotland. I mean, that's how she was into it. So have you ever seen those dogs herd sheep?
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
they're unbelievable.
Yes.
So she bought this farm because the way it laid out and everything it was perfect for sheep herding. And
The pig did it better, though. In the movie, the pig did it better. The pig did a pretty good job of herding them sheep in that movie.
That.
You never saw that movie, Babe?
No.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a sheep herding pig.
All right. So anyhow,
wait, you still haven't answered me.
What
does she do with the sheep? Does she eat them or make the fur out of them or something?
Okay, so for everybody listening, I mean, there's probably about 80,000 people listening now, give or take, 1,000. Everybody just understood what the answer was, except for you.
Well,
I said
she uses the show.
She uses them for the dogs to herd the sheep. To herd that's what they do.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Okay, now I think I get it. She uses the sheep to train the dogs how to herd sheep.
Correct. And when you
she breeds them sheep herding dogs, and that's why she has the sheep there.
Yeah, she doesn't breed the dogs, but yeah, she has the dogs.
She trains the dogs
Yeah.
to herd the sheep.
Correct.
Oh, okay. So the sheep really aren't there for food or anything like that.
No.
They're there for training purposes.
Mm-hmm. And the mule's in there to guard the sheep. And that is super important, man. I mean,
does the mule have a hat? I always think of mules and they got to have some kind of little hat on. You know what I mean?
No, mule doesn't have a hat.
Mule have a name?
Yeah, Jenny.
Jenny the mule.
Mm-hmm.
And the mule. Wait a minute. The mule protects the sheep, you said?
Oh my gosh! If you don't know this, man, 100%. And when you put a mule in with them sheep will never leave that mule side. And because for coyotes and stuff like that, they see the mule, they're not going to bother them sheep. And that's no joke, man. And they know it's their job. So
I think you know a lot more about this than you think. You should.
Well, that's pretty much. I'm tapped out now.
You should do this.
No,
I mean, you just acted like, oh, everybody knows mules protect sheep. I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. That's about all
I think it's in your blood. Maybe it is the Highlander story from flooring to farming.
I think so. But so I say that because this episode is about kind of reducing costs, increasing your profits, and getting ready for a new year and getting things in order and stuff. So I think that was kind of halfway germane to the topic. But is anybody up in age, man, or whatever, it doesn't have that kind of stuff resolved, man, you just realize how it just wreaks havoc on everybody else. So anyhow, okay.
Are your affairs in order?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, here's the thing. I mean, whatever was not in order is in order now because of this. And so yeah, but that's I got my act together, bro.
I know.
Yeah.
Just on a side note, I mean, you got all your stuff together, so you get your affairs in order, everything. Is there anything in it for me?
I do have something.
Did I make the list?
Yeah, I do have something in there.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
All right, nice. All right, well, I'll get my affairs order and I'll look around, see if I can find you something nice.
All right, if you don't mind, yeah.
Yeah, you looking for tools or furniture, stuff like that?
No, I don't see. I don't think I need anything from you.
Just cash.
That would help, yeah.
Okay.
All right. So the end of the year and saving monies and what have you. There's a couple things that I'll tell you something, Rob. One of the biggest eye openers for me is when I started itemizing trips to Home Depot and little miscellaneous stuff. Drill bits here, router bits there. Some caulking guns and whatever. You add that up at the end of the year. Stuff that it's not necessarily in the job, but we needed it for the job and blah blah blah. If you start adding all that stuff at the end of the year, that even in a really small business could be a $10,000 bump to your number at the end of the year. So those small miscellaneous things they add up tremendously. Those small spends are a killer.
Yeah.
And
right? You go into Home Depot, you just got to get one thing.
Yep.
It's brutal. That has opened my eyes to online shopping.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you're online shopping, like Bed Bath & Beyond, I think they closed all their stores, but now it's all online.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever go to Bed Bath & Beyond?
No, I probably must have followed you in one or two times.
Yeah. You came right in there with me, right? Well, it's not like you just go in and get one thing. All of a sudden, you're walking around and look at that. No, I could use this. Oh, look at this spatula. Nice. And then you walk out with. You went in for one or two things, and you walk out with a ton.
Yeah.
But now, if you're online shopping, you're just grabbing that one thing and you're done. So I think, I was always against online shopping, but I don't know. I think it's saving me a little in the end because I just went to Home Depot the other day. I don't know how many extra things I got because I was walking around, see this, see that. Oh, I could use this. So yeah, I completely agree with you.
It's $30 here, $48 there, $67 there.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty soon you start adding that up. At the end of the year, it can be a tremendous amount of money if it's not accounted for. That was one of the biggest eye openers for me when, because you think, it's just a small purchase. Yeah, I know it's whatever. It's just not that big, but you start adding them up. It's a tremendous amount. And I'll tell you something else. I'll put eating out in the same category for lunch, not bringing your lunch and eating at the, breakfast in the morning, breakfast in the afternoon, or something in the afternoon, something for lunch, a coffee, whatever. You start adding it up, and it is habits, is what it comes down to. It's habit. Mm-hmm. Just when you get in the habit of doing that, then it's just kind of what you do, and you kind of don't even think about it. But at the end of the year, throw $6,000 there on top of the $8,000 or $10,000 on the other. Okay, now we're talking, say, $15,000 or so. Okay, that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just on that, right?
We all have done the same thing, and I'm not going to harp on this, but because we've all done, I think we've all done this. We become a contractor. We finally go, all right, yeah, I'm a contractor. And we go out and buy that big truck, that big, very expensive truck and everything, and for driving around bidding jobs on. throwing that car payment versus one that would maybe be a little bit more sensible. I've been just as guilty. There's another few $1,000s that you add that to that.
All right, wait a minute. I'm gonna start adding up all your money here.
Okay.
So we had 15,000,
Yeah.
and that what was that last one? 4,000.
4,000.
You're on a roll, baby. Keep going. You're at 19.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if I have any more that well, we'll get into a couple more that I can think of down the road here, but
well, I know that you're big into it's the beginning of the year. Let's take a look at everything that worked and not worked type of a guy. I know that the start of the new year for you is big. I know it is with what you do with at Bona, but it was probably the same thing when you were a contractor.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to say, yeah, here's what I used to do.
Oh, I thought you were
I gave you a nice little lead-in setup there. I thought you were going to say, yeah, and here's what I used to do.
But I didn't need that lead-in set. I thought you were going somewhere with this.
I am, to lead you in.
Okay. Also, be careful with false impressions on some of these big jobs that look like they're big money jobs. It's a $60,000 job, or I got a $90,000 job. But when you, at the end of the day, especially if you got a problem job that you're working on with a contract, we're going back and forth. The scheduling is not optimum, and the scheduling has been disrupted several times, which cost you work. You know what I mean? Because they weren't ready, and they said they're going to be ready, and now it's cost you a week here, a week there. So taking a careful look at those jobs. A large job with a large price tag on it doesn't necessarily mean large profits. And these are other things I've learned along the way. So I'm saying anything that I haven't done myself. I mean,
maybe is it because the beginning of the year? Maybe is it time to take a look and maybe drop one or two of our contractors? Slow payers, bad player. Just jobs that just you really didn't do that well on. That maybe if you had extra time, you could have found something else to do that would have been a little bit better for you. Is it time to take a look at who we're working for?
Yep.
And what they're doing to us?
100%, man. I mean, relationships only is, a good relationship if it works both ways. And it's also a good time to look at slow payers, and I put them in that group too. Bad debt, slow payers that they're working off of your dime, and you're using your money to finance their projects and what have you. I mean, that's another thing that maybe a conversation has to happen.
So what are we going to do with those guys? We're going to jack their price up or just cut them loose?
There's a couple ways to look at it. One, yeah, I mean, I'm all in favor of, if you got to cut a guy loose because of that. Let me turn this darn thing off. If you got to cut a guy off because of that, I think that, something we've had to do that from time to time. They're just not reliable. Or you have to have a conversation, sit down and say, listen, this doesn't work for us. And here's a reason why. And so, or if you're going to be that slow, if we're not getting paid in 30 days, we're getting paid in 45 days, and it's this price. It's another price.
Yes. Right. If I got to give you terms, it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
Your terms are going to, I like going that way. Not really cutting somebody loose, but I still have to make this bottom line. So if I have to do that and you need 45, 90 days, here's what I got to charge you because, I'm not saying you got to sit down and go over all the nuts and bolts, but you take time to pay me. I need to get this now.
The other thing I'll say is, especially when the economy is bad, and if you have any leverage at all, is renegotiating the rent. If you got a place you've been renting for a long time, whatever, especially if you see other people moving out, you might be able to say, listen, I've been here X amount of time, and this rent, we got to start looking around, and maybe we can renegotiate that. And I've seen guys bring the price down by 30% doing that before, by the way, which was, they went in there thinking they could drop by a few $100s a month. and it ended up being $800 a month. So yeah, that's that's a significant. So now you look at the 800. So let's say it was $300 a month. Add that to the other to that list there. I mean, you're looking at some that goes on the plus side of that list.
That's
So
3,600, right? So it's
yeah,
another 4 grand.
yeah, yeah. So um,
That's
you know,
23,000 so far.
here's another one that is a killer is not getting a productive 8 hours on a job for whatever reason. You know what I mean? I mean,
Yes. When a guy's got to constantly run out, oh, I got to go get this, I got to get in. Oh, yes. And I'm glad you brought that up. I could not believe I was working at a distributor in Queens the other day, last week, and we were doing a distributor show, and a woman walks in and kind of calls out to the guys on the counter, "I'm from Uber Eats," and the guy at the counter goes, "Okay, yep, I got your order right here," and he took a bunch of sandpaper and a couple cases of traffic and everything and went out and put it in her car, and she drove away.
yeah,
Now we're in Queens, okay? It took me over an hour to go about 9 miles.
yeah,
And I thought to myself, well, first, only in New York City have I ever
yeah,
seen. There we go. Okay, yeah. How do you know you're in New York without saying you're in New York, right?
yeah.
Uber Eats guy is picking up Uber Eats woman is picking up sandpaper and finish. So I was talking to Bum about it, and he goes, "That's brilliant." He goes, "Think of how much time it would take for a guy to go do that when he can just have somebody." And he goes, "It's free." I said, I didn't find out how much it costs, but
Yep.
wow, when you're talking about cost savings, I was like, there's a huge one. Nobody's leaving the job. Everybody's staying productive.
Yep.
And here's the stuff you need to keep going.
I've seen a distributor do that in New York as well. That's a really smart idea. That's a great workaround.
Brilliant. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so throw that one out there. How much would you save everybody there?
Yeah.
Add that to the 23.
Let's say you've made, multiple trips to distributor when you could have just got it done in one trip or whatever, or you run around or whatever, or the homeowner's not starting, they're not letting you in on time or whatever. All that takes you away from being productive on the job and working a solid 8 hours. I'm saying 8 hours is, we all know that in this business, sometimes 8 means 12. But all those things that rob you from actually being productive on the job, or your guys for being productive on a job site, is like stealing money. That goes on that side of the equation too. What hurts you at the bottom line at the end of the day. So this to me is a good time to kind of evaluate these type of things.
The list you sent over about what we're going to do today. I read one of them that said invest in longer lasting tools.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know this is going to sound pretty minuscule, okay? But I've been doing some work around the house, and over the weekend, I went and bought my first expensive caulk gun. Not a battery operated one, but just a real nice quality caulk gun.
Mm-hmm.
Because the other ones I was using, it was to the point where I was bending handles, and because I have that kind of power.
Yeah, sure. I see your hands.
I have that kind of power, and I'm just, crushing it.
Yeah, Nordic strength.
Yeah. So I got this new caulk gun home. I was like, this is probably the last caulk gun I'll ever have to buy the rest of my life. This thing is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So what's a cheap caulk gun cost? I don't know, $4 or $5. And this one, I think this one was like close to 30, but it was just funny that I read that little list you sent over and said invest in longer lasting tools. I probably spent hundreds of dollars in cheap caulk guns.
Yeah.
Where if I had gone with this one, the only way I would have lost it is somebody would have used it and go, "Oh my God, this is awesome! I'm stealing this."
There's nothing worse than buying a tool twice that you didn't have to. That's why, I'll take Festool. I'll throw Festool out there. They make great products and they last a long time. And you only have to buy them the one time. But what you said about you only having to buy a caulking gun probably for the rest of your life, let's be honest, at your age, everything you buy could be the last time you have to buy it.
That's it. This is the last car.
Yeah.
This is the last. This is the last pair of shoes.
Yep.
My Pauline's dad, my father-in-law, Al Blevins, he used to have a pretty funny joke. We'd be hanging out or doing whatever, and he'd always say, "Are you kidding me? I'm so old. I don't even buy green bananas anymore."
Yeah. Don't even fill up the gas tank all the way. Okay, Rob, I'm going to tell you something else. We're joking about age. I heard a quote the other day, and I'm going to tell you something. Again, this might be for older guys, and I know all our audience isn't old. I mean, but this is interesting to me. Aging is the aggressive pursuit of comfort. That's how you age. Okay.
Aging
is the aggressive pursuit.
Wait, I'm going to write that down.
Okay.
Aging
is the aggressive pursuit of comfort. And most ailments that you have in life come from lack of oxygen, dementia, you name it. All kinds of illnesses come from lack of oxygen. So, I've recently come across this guy that's kind of blown my mind, man. And his name is Wim Hof, Wimhof. And I'll tell you what he does. One thing he does is breathing exercises. And I'll be darned. I mean, look, I'm not that guy. I don't do, I don't do weird stuff. But this guy does breathing exercises. The reason why, his philosophy behind it is it introduces oxygen into all of your body that you need and that we don't get. Okay. And the other thing he does is cold plunges, cold showers, cold plunges. Have you heard of this?
No.
Okay. Holy smokes, man. I just started doing this too.
You're doing all this stuff.
Yes.
Are you one of these guys, you read something and go, oh, I'm going to do that?
I don't think I am. I don't jump on fads. You know me.
I eat nothing but asparagus soup.
Nah.
Man, look at me. I'm an Adonis.
No, that's not me at all. But this makes a lot of sense to me. I've been taking a cold shower in the morning for like 4 minutes, like no heat at all, just cold water, completely cold water.
Straight cold water, nothing else. You'll
never feel better. I'm telling you, man, what it does for you, any of that morning fog, it's supposed to be great for fighting off different, ailments and what have you. It is absolutely phenomenal how you feel afterwards.
I thought you were supposed to drink cold water. I haven't heard the cold water. Yeah, I heard drink a couple glasses of cold water, and that's the way to, kickstart your morning. But you're doing a cold shower.
And I bought a tub that I put outside that filled it with water, and I'm going to do the cold plunging thing. When you get in the water, it's like lower than 50 degrees, 50 to 40, 35 degrees, whatever. And you get in there for like 3 minutes or so.
Uh-huh.
And I'm working my way towards that. In all fairness, it's like 34 degrees outside now. That's pretty damn cold. I'm getting there, but I'm starting with cold showers. And
I think you could start a whole new wood floor fad, man. The Wayne Highlander cold water plunge. You got to have Judy tape you doing this.
Well, first of all, it's not I'm just following someone else's direction. It's not my idea. But what I have been doing, Rob, is I get in the cold water tub up past my knees, like up to my legs. Okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys listen probably go, oh, you big sissy, just go the rest of the way down there. I know, I'm working on it. But your knees will never feel better. it brings all that blood flow to your knees and everything. And I'm telling you, Rob, it's amazing. It truly is amazing. I mean, you'll feel so much better. It'll blow your mind. So just throwing it out there. I mean, I
All
don't give a
right.
lot of, I don't give a lot of life,
Actually, I think you do almost every show, but
maybe I do. Well, I'm not preaching to anybody. I'm just saying that this is something I've been hearing it from other people.
well,
Well,
a long time ago, a bunch of buddies and we all went camping, and
uh-oh.
it was Memorial Day weekend, but we were up in the North Country,
Yeah.
and the water just looked amazing. It just. So I go, why don't we go for a swim? And the guy who owned the campground, he's like, well, really, the ice just kind of melted. He
Mhm.
goes, we just lost the ice off the lake, and I'm like, no, it's fine. We can do
Yeah.
this. So I told my buddies, like, I'm gonna swim out. They had a swim platform out in the lake a little bit. I'm gonna swim out there and hang out there. I could barely get back. The water was so cold that all of a sudden my body just didn't want to move anymore.
Yep.
I was having trouble breathing. So
Yep.
be careful on these cold water plunges, because it was kind of scary. I mean, it was to a
Well,
point where they were helping me out of the water because I couldn't walk anymore and I
okay.
couldn't breathe. It was one of it's definitely up there in my top 10 dumb things that I've done in my life list.
Okay. Well, yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey. It was
yeah.
dumb.
Yeah. Yeah. I
It
went
was dumb. It wasn't
hardcore, didn't I?
stupid.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was, yeah. Stupid is
Okay.
the stupid's
Yeah.
kind of mean,
Yeah.
you know?
Sorry about that. Yeah.
This is just a dumb thing I did, not,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
a
Well,
big difference.
I'm glad you said that
I may
because
be dumb, but I'm not stupid.
yeah, that's true. True.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because I should say, I'm not a doctor. You maybe should just consult a physician before you do something like this. But and certainly
Well, like you said, you're taking it slow. Just went in with the knees.
yeah, yep. Well, I do the cold shower for sure. I mean, anybody could do that. But that's why you check out this guy Wim Hof and the breathing techniques. Like I don't do meditation, any kind of stuff. I've never done it in my life, then whatever. But this is, man, it's unbelievable how much better you feel doing it. And so I am doing the cold showers, and now so far I'm just doing all my legs in the tub. And man, it's like I don't even feel my knees after that and walking around. Fantastic. Fantastic. So anyhow,
Well, now that you adopted these sheep, do they have one of those big steel tubs that they drink out of? What do they call that? Trough.
yeah, trough, yeah.
Just gonna go in that.
No, I bought my own tub.
See, you could have gone in the sheep one.
I went to Tractor Supply to buy it though, and there was a girl behind the counter. She's like 20, and I was talking. She goes, "What are you gonna do with it?" I said, "I'm gonna do the cold plunging thing." She goes, "Oh." She goes, "Hey, I follow this dude on TikTok," and she knew all about it. So anyhow, so yeah,
Oh, you got to have a video of this now when you do it.
yeah, maybe we'll see. So anyhow,
wait, I want to talk about the breathing.
yeah.
So what are you doing?
So
Like a dark room by yourself?
No. It's just you breathe in 30 breaths, really as much as you breathe in and breathe out as hard as you can, and then hold it for 30 seconds. Do it again, breathe in and breathe out without any breaks at all. Hold it for like a minute, and then do that again, another 30 seconds or whatever and hold it for a minute and a half. Is what it does is circulates blood all through your body, and we don't do that anymore. We don't and especially as you get older, you don't move as much or whatever. And I just think it's great, man. Anyhow, so reason I'm kind of saying this because also investing in yourself. We talk about investing in tools all the time and what have you. Hardwood floor guys are notoriously hard on themselves because you got to do what? Suck it up. You got to suck it up. You got a pain. No one wants to hear about your problem. Your back hurts. Everybody's back hurts, right? Get over it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you tough it out. You don't go to a doctor because you know what, it's working. You ain't got time for that and whatever.
And you know what
can't
he's going to
take,
tell you,
right, yeah, or he may give you some medication, whatever.
especially
But
you, where you're kind of a doctor anyways.
absolutely. So I'm just like I say, I'm throwing it out there. You can say I'm crazy, whatever. I mean,
No, I'm not going to say you're crazy, but is
I,
everything okay?
I've given worse advice. I couldn't be happier, dude. What do you mean, is everything
Okay,
okay?
well, I mean, is like you're telling everybody get your affairs in order, and
Oh, no,
I'm feeling old, and I got to
no,
do deep breathing, and I got to do
no,
this water
no.
thing, and all right, is there something that you're not telling me? You
No,
okay?
no, I'm fine. No, just because I said I was going to leave you something, don't get excited. You won't get it anytime soon. You got a long time to go, buddy.
Good,
Um,
good. I'm glad
yeah,
you're good, man.
yeah. Couldn't be better. So, but anyhow, just it's just everything I just mentioned costs nothing. Costs nothing to do.
Well,
The
that
cold
tub's gonna.
shower.
How much is that tub? What the tub
Well, the
cost?
tub was $200. Okay, but you don't need the tub. You can do a cold shower, and it's just water. All right.
Yeah.
So, so that didn't cost anything. The Wim Hof. I'm going to say it again. WIMHOF. I've given worse advice. Okay. So, check
But
that
you're
out.
feeling it though, right? You said
Dude,
you're definitely feeling this.
phenomenal, phenomenal. And I don't, like I say, I don't go in for, I don't go in for this kind of stuff. I really don't. But here I've had like 3 people in the last year tell me about this guy and doing this, and all people I respect. So so that's why I'm sharing it.
All right.
All
So
right.
don't do it the way Wayne's saying. Just ease into it. Don't do a Rob Johnson where you just dive into the lake
Yeah.
and then
Well,
halfway home you're thinking, "Oh, this was a really bad idea. This
you
isn't
know
working."
something. I'll tell you something. I fish alone all the time, and I fish in the wintertime often. You fall out of the boat and it's 32-degree water, or whatever, 36
You're a
degrees
dead
out.
man.
You
Yeah.
ain't gonna last that long. What this has done for me doing this, it allows you to control your breathing. You're not, breathing like out of
Yes.
control. It allows you to really slow down in your breathing, which gives you a shot. So I think that's how I told Judy. I said, "Look, man, this is also good. It's a safety thing." So who knows?
Now when you fall out of the boat, man, you're gonna be good, man.
I
You know
have
that
fall.
breathing thing? It's funny you say that because we've been teaching the boys how to snorkel, and everybody the first time they snorkel, that's how they're breathing. They're just
Yeah,
really panting like dogs, where it's like really controlled, really take a deep breath in, hold it out
yeah,
really slow. Definitely. I
yeah.
agree.
The last thing I'm going to say is, if you can consider hiring veterans or for tax credits is now allowed in the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. So, looking out for our veterans out there. They've been
That's
through
nice.
the fire, and maybe there's a incentive for hiring a veteran. So that might be another good option. All right. Well, that's all I got. And I get it. I listen. I said again. I've said it many times. I love setting goals. I don't know how you go through life without it. I have to set goals. It helps me, focus. And I like the end of the year, closing things out, gaining perspective on what happened last year. I like the beginning of a new year because I'm always optimistic. Maybe that's the fisherman in me. I'm always optimistic about the future. So to me, it's a good chance to sit down and kind of reflect, kind of just start again. You made it another year in this business, man. Holy smokes! You're doing something that is a very difficult trade. A lot of people could not hang doing this. Most of our friends, most everybody out there has friends. Most of your friends could not do this job. And here you are, another year doing this. You should be damn proud of yourself for doing that, man. That's a big accomplishment. When I see guys in this trade, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, whatever, and that have that kind of longevity, that don't happen by accident, man. That's character. There's a lot of things that go into that, and something to be very proud of. So anyhow, there you go. That's all I got, Rob. That's been another. This is another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. Please stay tuned for another episode.